Hello ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between and beyond. My name is Taylor and welcome back to the art table for May of 2023, this time featuring Carbon Abstract Art. Now, as the name implies, she does a lot of abstract art, and I will be referring to her as Car for the sake of simplicity. Now, abstract art is a difficult one to assess and really show, I guess, in the sense that beauty in art is always in the eye of the beholder, and abstract art especially really varies depending on what you take away from it personally. So my interpretation of these pieces or my appreciation of these pieces may be very different from yours and may not be up to what you would appreciate. So by all means, I do recommend you check out her Instagram page. Please understand that all of her works are physical. She is the second person I have covered that only does physical works, except, the first being Jared does jewelry. These are all just more traditional art pieces. So I do not know if they will be available wherever you are located, but I would again recommend asking her via the Instagram link in the description down below if she's able to ship to you and what the prices would be for that. So please just keep that in mind. With that being said, I will also just, give my usual spiel. Artists are human beings. They have the right to price things as they see fit, deny requests or fulfill requests that they see fit. Just because you know me does not mean you will get any sort of discount or any sort of special deal. And I do not take any form of kickback, promotion, discount, or anything like that from the artists. I only cover their work for the appreciation of the art itself. With that being said, let's get into the first piece. The first piece I wanted to cover is, I think, arguably the least abstract of the ones I'm hoping to showcase today. It is a play on the Deadpool logo, which I think is pretty evident, but I loved the color scheme and I loved the kind of melting effect that it had. Now, I don't know exactly how she does her work. There are a few different techniques that she uses that I will be showcasing later on. But this one really stood out to me because it was recognizable, right? And again, abstract art is absolutely not necessarily divisive, but it's not for everyone. And I totally understand that. So I wanted to find something that could kind of show a more, quote, mainstream appeal before getting to some of the stuff that is, again, maybe less palatable for someone because they may not understand it as much. Either way, this is a gorgeous piece. I would love to have this in my place. And now we're going to get on into something a little more different. So this next piece is obviously not too far out there, but it, again, is still a little more different and a little more unusual for some people. I thought it was really cool to see the process of how she does things. Again, she does things very differently depending on the piece itself. So with this one, she hand painted it, but there are others that she does free pour and mixing as well as spray paint. But I was just really fascinated to see how all the colors kind of come together in the end and what it really looks like. It's a less traditional piece with the mixture of black and red and then the silver line down the middle. But again, I thought it looked really visually striking. And to me, seeing the process is a lot because I'm terrible at any sort of artwork and especially painting. So it was really fascinating to see all this go down. Speaking of free pour, that's why I wanted to highlight this next piece. As she does state in the video, it has been a while since she's done a free pour, so I don't know how this one compares to the one she had done previously or afterwards. But I never thought to do something like this, to free pour paint, then shake it around, use a blow dryer, and it just had a really interesting visual effect that I wasn't expecting. Not to mention the different colors really contrasted with the original pieces that I showed, and it to me stood out really well. And it kind of had this almost membrane type feel to it, which again may not necessarily be appealing to everyone, and I don't know if I could find a right room for this piece in particular, but I thought it looked beautiful and was a really interesting process. Speaking of visual contrast, I really liked these next handful of pieces technically, because of just how different they all turned out. So I understand they're all relatively the same pattern, but just the different spectrum of colors that she was able to get for each piece looked really nice. And I thought, they all have a very different feel to them, especially kind of the later ones have a much softer, almost beach type feel versus the originals, which were more traditional kind of rainbow or more vibrant colors. So I thought it was really cool just how different everything could feel, especially and that second last one, having that black and orange feel to it, again, just brought back a little bit of that heaviness versus the middle lighter pieces. And I thought it was really interesting, but I just thought it was really interesting how different all of these pieces could feel while looking relatively the same. Speaking of rainbow, that's actually why I picked this next piece. It felt very provocative in some ways, with the mixture of kind of the mask covering the eyes and then almost an agape mouth, unsure of how to react. Now, I'm obviously reading far too much into this, and I don't necessarily think it's something with a really direct message towards anything in particular. Again, abstract art is very difficult to parse a meaning to or give a meaning to outside of your own personal views. It was a nice piece that I thought could be a real conversation starter. And another conversation starter I thought would be this piece right here. I thought it was really visually striking, especially with the multiple lines almost creating this illusion of movement, and just the odd structure that, I mean, I'm gonna say it kind of reminds me of the Illuminati, but, you know, anything that looks like a triangle could be argued as being Illuminati. And it's got a very almost uncanny valley feeling to it where you could sort of see this as an actual structure, but at the same time, it feels ever so alien. And it's just something that's not quite right about the shape. Speaking of something not quite right, I really liked this one, not necessarily because I don't think it's right, in, you know, quotes, but it struck me as something that makes me feel like something is just a little bit off. So I almost pictured either a mountaintop or like an egg kind of in the center there. I understand that these are really odd interpretations, but it's just the first thing that popped into my head. And I know I've picked a lot of black and red on here, but to me, it's just some of the most visually striking work that she has. Now, there are plenty of other works that obviously I can't get into video format or else this video would be super long, but I do highly recommend you check them out. I just like really highlighting stuff like this that makes me think about something and kind of question, what do I see in this? What do I think about this? This piece doesn't necessarily make me question things the way the other one did. I just really love these pieces as a whole. Now, the caption for these does say that she did a whole bunch of spray paint work, which to me is insane. I don't know how you would get these kinds of shapes, these kinds of lines with spray paint. Not to mention, looking at the other things she's done, it just boggles the mind how much she's able to do and how much she's able to pull out of so many different artistic mediums and tools. I think most of all, I love the pink piece on the far right. It just, I don't know, it stands out the most to me. But all three of these pieces are absolutely gorgeous, and I would love to have any of them in my home. Finally, I decided to end off with this wonderful self-portrait that Car has done with her and her cat. I do know Car in person, so I'm a little more comfortable sharing something like this knowing that she has put this on the internet herself, as well as other images on her Instagram account that I have linked in the description below. So I have no reason as of right now to believe she's uncomfortable with me sharing this image. I just think it's a really, really beautiful piece. I think she's a wonderful person. I have never met her cat before, but he sounds like a lovely cat. Yes, he is a hairless, so some of you may not find that too appealing, but that's okay. I just, again, wanted to highlight an absolutely gorgeous piece of work by a wonderfully talented artist, and I do hope that you will go and check her out. And that will bring us to the end of the video. Thank you, ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between and beyond, so much for watching. I do absolutely hope you check Car out on Instagram. Once again, her links are in the description down below. Please, by all means, check her out, order something. Again, I don't know if she'll be able to ship it to you. That is a conversation you need to have with her. But thank you for being here. Thank you for helping support the channel. I hope to have so many more artists on in the future. So yeah, if you have any artists you want to see on here, let me know. I would be happy to hit them up and see what they say, but I can't guarantee they'll agree to be on the show. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you check out the artist, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!